G'day, my name is Ben PM. Welcome to Nightbreed Metal Radio. I've got 3 bands for you today, starting with Wolfheart. Wolfheart are a melodic death metal band out of Finland. They've been going since 2013, and their new album, Draconian Darkness, comes out on the 6th of September. I talk to the frontman, Tuamas. Here he is on Nightbreed Metal Radio. Tuamas, thanks for coming on the show, man. Where are you talking us from? Are you in Finland at the moment?
I am very much in Finland, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'm in Perth, WA, and you guys were not here not that long ago, yeah? March with Flesh God Apocalypse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how was that tour? That must have been, fun, right?
It was a lot of fun. It was, I always want to be brutally honest, the traveling is beyond horrible.
Sure, yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
There's no way like sugarcoating or going around with that. It was brutal to get there, and I didn't realize that we are flying against the time zone, so going back home was even more horrible. Oh. But everything between those 2 travel days was amazing. It was we love to tour with Flesh God. It doesn't matter where we go because we done like South America and North America with them already. And awesome people to tour with, so we knew that that's going to be fun anyway. Like joining them is always fun, but it's super rare that you have this kind of scheduling on tour. That we basically had 1 day off in each city that we went. Maybe 1 or 2 didn't have, but half of the tour was off days in different parts of Australia. So we actually got to go to places, see places, actually get to sleep. So we were like I'd never been in that much of a good mood in a tour, and because I was able to usually you see the van, the hotel, backstage, stage, backstage, van, hotel, sleep 4 hours, and then that cycle goes again. So, and it was it's been on my bucket list for years. But like we done almost all the other parts of the world that makes sense to go on tour, but never had the chance to come to Australia. So, and we love touring there anyway. Like the mentality of the people, you are so easygoing and professional at the same time. That's cool. Not a lot of places where people are very chill, but they don't stop being chill when they need to be professional.
Sure, yeah.
There are certain parts in the world where everything goes smooth until everything gets fucked up. So it's a really, really nice country, really nice mentality with people, and so I guess it works really well for Finnish way of human being.
Yeah.
Because you are very easygoing, but you don't like push it too much. It's just very enjoyable, very, very enjoyable tour.
Oh, good. No, glad to hear it. And so since then we had the video for Grave. Did you have to close off that shoreline or to film, or was it in some kind of crazy remote spot? Like where were you guys filming that? It looked really great.
It was Iceland, so from our point of view, it was very remote since it was like 3,000 kilometers away.
Yeah.
Thing is, like Finland has a very, very beautiful nature, but Finnish nature mainly looks too nice. In summer it's too green and too nice, and in winter it's too white and still too beautiful. So it's not the ideal scenery for music videos for a metal band. So that's why we usually travel to northern Norway or Iceland, where you have proper mountains and lava fields and stuff like that. So we spent 1 week in Iceland almost straight after the Australian tour, and we did footage for 3 music videos there. So there's going to be a lot more of this kind of scenery coming.
Yeah, nice. That looks really cool. And you've got the video for Evenfall, where you're all sort of standing in a circle in the studio, in the same room, playing, facing each other. Is that how the whole of Draconian Darkness was recorded, like all together, or is that just kind of a video setup,
It's 100% video setup.
Yeah,
like that I would like to do that. I would love to do that, but that's pretty much the opposite that we do, because our solo guitar player Vagelis, he lives in Athens. He comes to Finland if there is festivals or we have tours that we need to have 1 rehearsals together, but otherwise we don't get to play together. Our drummer was out from the band for almost a year because he had very severe back issues and some nerve damage on the left leg. And the bass player also lives a few hundred kilometers away. So the whole band has been just in different places for quite a long time. So I wanted to have everybody, it was more like for the band than it was for the audience. I just wanted to bring everybody together, have a nice location, have a chill out day, because this kind of music video is also the easiest to make because you don't need to act.
Yeah.
Nobody's covering you with blood. Nobody's burning everything. The whole setup is, there's not tons of lights, smoke, things happening. I just wanted to have a nice day for the band to hang out, have a good looking video, and yeah.
That's cool. And is that Deep Noise Studios? You're right. It looks like a great space that you shot the Evenfall video in.
Actually, that's not the studio we used even.
Okay, sure. Yeah, okay.
That's how far we are from the reality. We're probably going to use that studio for the drum recordings of the next album. It's pretty new studio, and I didn't know that studio existed until I started to ask around, and it's only 1 hour away from our rehearsal room. So if I would have known about the studio, we probably would have used it. But no, in the name of honesty, all fabricated. We have no connection with the studio until that moment.
Oh, cool. Well, it sounds like you'll be back there. It looks like a good space. Yeah. So King of the North, the last album, was that recorded similarly to this current one, or did you guys try something different this time around?
Well, the new album is done like we usually do albums, that I write the songs alone and then I do the pre-production. I send the guys the version of the songs, and then they start working their parts on top of those, and then we just come together in the studio. No, not at the same time, everybody, even. First is the drummer, then we do the bass and the rhythm guitars, and Vagelis does most of his stuff in Athens, so he probably doesn't even come to Finland. That's the basic pattern, and that's how we did this album. But previous one we did completely differently. We booked this old cabin near a lake in the middle of the forest. I think the closest neighbor was 10 kilometers away. And we built the studio there, and the whole band stayed there for 1.5 weeks. So we recorded the whole base of the album, just being there inside the nature. We had the sauna, of course, lake. We went fishing. We did all this kind of outdoor, very Finnish kind of stuff. I would have wanted to do that on the new album, but that takes so much scheduling to have everybody can take 2 weeks off from their work or personal duties or other bands, that it just didn't make sense with the current schedules for this album. But that was the most pleasant studio session I've ever done, because with that kind of scenery, it's just, especially for Finnish person. I don't know if you don't have even saunas in. You don't need.
We don't really need them as hot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, but it's for Finnish person that was like a holiday, and you just made an album at the same time.
Yeah, beautiful. That's cool. And Carl Sanders from Niles on Cold Flame on that album. Yeah, how'd you get together with Carl?
Because world is small. Our sound guy that we have used the most for North American touring, he's the tour manager of Nile. Okay. So that came super easy, and also our guitar player is a really, really good friend of the drummer, George Colias. So it's I never met Carl, but I had two persons who know him super well, so it was just one email and it got done.
Yeah, cool. And that last album was on Napalm Records, but this one's with Reigning Phoenix Music, yeah? How'd you get together with them?
Well, our deal with Napalm ended after the previous album, so we were like a free agent anyway. We wanted to see what else there is offered. Napalm always did a great work for us, but we didn't want to sign a new deal freely. They made us an offer. It was a good offer, but our management has a very close ties to the Reigning Phoenix Music. Yeah. And they told us about there's a new label coming, that just wait for a few months and we get to talk more about that. So we were we knew that there's something new is happening and something big is coming. So, and yeah, luckily we waited, because I think this is the biggest like a boss move in the metal music industry in 20 years. Having this kind of like new label with this amount of bands: Kerry King, Opeth, Meshuggah, Amorphis, Halloween, and they just started like less than a year ago, and now they are almost one of the biggest in Europe. So we just wanted to be like right that way. That means that if Kerry King signs to a new label, if his management people and his business people think that this is the label where we should go, when they could pick any label in the world, they could just walk into any office and say, "Hey, I'm Kerry, do my album," and they would be yes. So if they choose the label, and like Finnish legend like Amorphis, they could walk into any label. If they choose this label, that means that there's so many professionals from other labels working on this one, that every of these big bands feel confident enough to leave their old labels. So
yeah, no, good choice, man. That's cool. This began as a solo project for you, right? Like, do you remember when you decided to involve other musicians?
yeah, because it's the first album was like a solo album. I did record everything on my own, but I had one guitar player doing the guitar solos, and he became to be the solo guitar player of the band. And before the album was even out, I already had the guys for the live lineup. We played the first show 2 months after the album was out. So the only point was that I wanted to make an album by myself. I just, without label, without management, without distribution, without promotion, without any schedules or deadline, I released the album on my own. But that was just my personal break from music business, because I had several bands before that, but I buried all of them 2013. And on the same message, when I announced the end of all my bands, I told there's a new one coming that's called Wolfheart. I wanted to just do the album alone. I didn't want to continue the band as a solo band. It was supposed to be a band, but just it can take a lot of energy to run a band also, to be like, of course, I need to answer to all of the guys. I need to fix schedules for everybody. Everything needs to work for everybody. I'm like, there's a lot of like responsibility when you're running a band. So I just wanted to have a break from everything, labels, bandmates, just bury myself in the studio, but never was the idea to have a solo project from that point on.
Yeah. And other than having Mika's, obviously he left, but it's pretty much the same lineup the whole time, right? Like for the 10 years basically. Yeah.
Yeah, we did change the bass player. I think it was like half a year after the first album came out, and then after that we only changed the guitar player, and that was only because of Mika had some family already at that point. He was studying. He had a day job, so it was just impossible for him to be touring. So he decided to step down because he felt so much stress about, like, every time when I asked about a tour or festival or doing any shows outside Finland, it was a huge stress for him. First try to get the schedules work, and then tell me that he can't do this and he can't do this, and so it was just like bringing like a lot of bad energy because of that, not because that we wouldn't want to play together. So it was a kind of sad thing, but that's how life works. But otherwise, yeah, it's been the same guys, and hopefully for the next 10 years also.
Yeah, that's cool. And has the way the band works changed much over time, or have you guys kind of figured out that this is how we function? You know?
I did play with two of the guys before Wolfheart, so we knew really well how each one work and how the roles would actually go. So it's just like everything has, how can I say? It's just the more years go by, the easier things are, because everybody has a better focus on what they like. Our drummer is the CEO in our company. He does all the tax stuff and everything like that. But nowadays, his profession is to be a CEO in another company, like a actual big company. So like he's super professional with everything like that, and that I don't have any role in the financial side or the paperwork. So, and then again, I do all the creative stuff, music video production, songwriting, stuff like that, and that's my territory. So it is it's more clear and more simple, and it also works more efficiently because of that.
Yeah, cool. Has your gear changed much since the band started? Like your guitar and amp, what you're playing through?
Yes and no. Like I changed guitar. That's the biggest thing. And I have this weird thing that I can see that there's two guitars in the picture already.
Yeah.
That's one more that I own because
Oh, there you go.
I've started like having my own custom guitars, especially with the Finnish like small custom shops where I can customize everything. There's nothing from the shelf, nothing from the stock, except the hardware and the mics. And I had one that I used for 5 years, and this current one I've been using for 6 years now. And these are the only guitars I've owned in the past 11 years. Yeah. I don't even have a spare guitar. My guitar player has a ESP, and I always take that as a spare guitar when we go on tour or festivals. So yeah, one guitar changed once. That's the biggest change, and we stopped using amps. We are using pedals because it's just traveling wise, it doesn't make any sense to carry a backline anymore, but otherwise it's been the same.
Yeah, cool. And with gear, there's a really nice acoustic classical guitar sound at the start of Burning Sky. What guitar is that's being played? It's got a really nice resonance, you know?
It's a baritone acoustic. I started playing baritone scale guitars like 15 years ago at least, and once you're getting used to that tuning and that like vibration of the low end, any normal guitar feels like a toy. Yeah. Sounds like a toy. So I didn't enjoy the acoustic guitar sound anymore. So I bought the also the tuning would be a little bit complicated too, because I compose everything on A or G tuning, and then having a regular acoustic guitar wouldn't I wouldn't be able to play all the ideas the way I want. So having a baritone acoustic made all the sense. But I just love the low end of that guitar because I have a like long scale acoustic bass also. And I don't think I ever want to play with the regular instruments anymore. Anything that has normal scale is just a toy. That's fine. Somebody's gonna beat me up because of that comment.
That's cool.
That's how I feel. Yeah. And especially with the acoustic guitar, the difference is huge. I use like the thickest string is like 74 on the acoustic guitar that I'm playing now, so I could use that as a bass. In some parts, we could take the bass out in the mix even. It's so full and rich, and it fills the whole mix such a way. But yeah.
That's cool. What's the body on that like? Like, is it bigger as well, or is it just this?
A little bit bigger. But it's not like this Western style of acoustic guitar. It's still like nicely playable with size. It's a little bit deeper also, but it's not like as big as you would think. The body is not that much bigger. It's just the scale.
Yeah, cool. Outside of your own stuff, what have you been listening to these days?
I'm really bad like music listener because I only listen to music when I'm at the gym.
Yeah, sure.
Like because of that, like because it's basically 3 albums that I've been listening. Some of them I've been listening to like 10 years. Is the Whitechapel album called Whitechapel. Then any Moon Sorrow album works in the gym because one song can take like 30 minutes, so it kind of like. It doesn't interrupt you. There's no changes of the song. It's just one whole. But there's one new album that I've been listening to, and that's Orbiculture, the latest. That's the first album in at least in 10 years that I don't skip a song. I just put that on and I change it when the album is going through at the gym. But otherwise, like it's super difficult to find anything new and interesting to listen because. You don't get excited. I'm 44. I started listening to metal when I was 12. So of course I'm never gonna feel the same thrill when I heard first time Cannibal Corpse or first time Metallica. So it's kind of like I gave up already. Like I don't need to. I have the old albums to listen, but Orbiculture was a very big positive surprise Like I've been very excited about the album still. So
So the album's out. Your album's out September. What's next for Wolfheart? You have the European tour with Dark Tranquility, Moonspell, and High Res, right?
yeah, that happens in November. We're gonna do Finnish tour in September.
Cool.
There's some plans to do some a little bit more exotic stuff in December. We are talking about maybe doing Dubai or Egypt or stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
But North America should happen in February. That's we are trying to like confirm. It didn't help when we heard that the US visas went 200% higher with the cost.
Yeah.
So that kind of like I know a lot of bands that have a lot of complication because of that. It's a huge jump with the prices, so we need to see how that affects on our case. And then we're gonna do another European tour and festivals on the next summer, then US tour or third European tour. Hopefully we do Australia also again, because that was the point, one of the points to do the tour with Flesh God this early, considering the new album, that we can kick like open some doors, that we have the possibility to do a headliner tour with this new album still. So
yeah. Oh, that's great, man. That'd be cool. Well, look, yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys coming back when you make it for the new one. And Tuamas, thanks heaps for your time. It's been cool to chat.
thank you.
Cool. Thanks a lot, mate. Have a good one.
Mr. Tuamas. Next up, we've got Lyndon from Iniquitous Monolith. Iniquitous Monolith are a Perth band. They're heavy as balls, very, very low, brutal death metal. Their new album, Monstrous Degradation, comes out tomorrow if you're watching on the 8th of August. It comes out on the 9th of August. And Lyndon and I talk about that, plus his other bands. Here he is. Monstrous Degradation is out August 9. This is the first full length, yeah?
Yeah, we did like 2 EPs. One like early on that was with a drum machine, and then like we got the band fully together and then did Sledgehammered in 2022, and that was like, you know, the full band with a real drum machine and everything, closer to the sound that we really want to go for. And then Monstrous will be like, you know, really sort of refining everything and a full length, and it's only 33 minutes, but I think that's kind of like a sweet spot for brutal death. It can get like a bit much, you know. You can get, if you've got like 50 minutes worth of just blasts and, you know, and slams, it can just get a bit overwhelming, you know. It's hard to listen to like three songs in a row sometimes, but like, you know, 33 minutes like about that is like a good sort of sweet spot that I sort of dig.
Yeah, for sure. No, it works. I listened to it earlier today, man. It's definitely, you know, feels whole, like it's a good amount of time. It's cool. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. How was it going in to write for an album? Like, was there anything specific you wanted to do at all? Like write for the, you know, you had this, like, we're doing this in an amount of time release kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, no, we like I kind of wrote it quite a while ago. It was like I'm trying to write stuff just like all the time, but this was written like the second EP that we did was actually recorded after we had recorded the drums for the album, which is kind of ass backwards, but that's just the way it turned out. We wanted to just like get it all together because they were like the better songs. They were sort of more in the direction that we really wanted to head in. So we kind of like got all those together and really, you know, whittled them down until they were really sick, and then did the finishing touches more recently and then polished it up to be, you know, how we wanted it to sound.
Yeah, that's cool. The title track, Monstrous Degradation, you guys did the playthrough vid. You and Brad there.
Oh yeah.
That was cool. I'm a sick seeing you guys play those riffs and hammer-ons close up. You know, what made you choose that particular track? Like, is it more fun to look at or something? You know?
Yeah, that's it. It's like it's just a bit more. Yeah, like the riffs are kind of all over the place. They're a bit more flashy, I guess. Like those riffs are kind of really satisfying to play. So I thought, like, if anyone, most of the people who get into death metal and stuff, they play themselves, and I think it's interesting watching the playthroughs and stuff of the songs that are like a bit more technical. Like it's like you can't sit there and watch 3 minutes worth of someone just slamming power chords.
Sure.
That's kind of that gets a bit monotonous. But like if the riffs are kind of interesting and you want to kind of see how someone writes or makes riffs, it's better to do something that's a bit more, you know, visually sort of satisfying and all, a bit all over the place, not just kind of the same old.
Yeah, man. Yeah. If you do another one for any reason, I really liked Necrotic Perversities. I'd love to see what you guys are doing there. That's cool.
Oh yeah. Brad, we did a play. Like Brad, the bass player, he did a playthrough for that. So I might as well put that out because I just did a playthrough of the whole album because when we did that, it was like after we'd recorded, so like we were nice with all of it. So I just basically pressed play at the start of the album and just played through the whole thing with a couple of cameras set up, and then we thought like we'll just use that wherever we can clip it up and do whatever with it. And then, so I'm just getting my head around Adobe Premiere and just kind of putting playthroughs out on that every now and then. I put the playthrough for Skin Stripper out I think about a week ago, and so that's up there as well. But yeah, Brad's not playing on that one, it's just me.
Yeah, cool. Sweet, man. The album production is great. Like, do you guys record yourselves? Like, who masters? What was the process on this release, Monstrous Degradation?
We recorded it all here at my house, and then drums were recorded with Dan Granger. He's a local ledge. He's in a whole bunch of bands and does a bit of drum recording. And besides that, it was all just guitars, bass, and vocals were all here. And I sort of had a bit of a knowledge of at least the engineering side of things. But production was Simon Mitchell. He plays guitar for Chaos Divine.
Oh yeah.
And he's really good. He hasn't done a lot of. He did Sledgehammer as well. He hasn't done a lot of like brutal death metal stuff, but like he was awesome at taking direction and like because I had a really specific sort of sound in mind. Like he was really good at going back and forth and like sort of getting the sound like just right and just the way we want it. You know, a lot of modern death metal is like all drums. Like you chuck the album on some systems and it's just like drum overload. Yeah, and especially the nature of like modern death metal, especially more technical stuff. It's like it's so quantized and to the grid that sometimes it's just like you're listening to a guitar profile or something, and it's just like it's just not fun. Like so, with Monstrous, we wanted it to be like guitars up front, bass up front, and just like the drums are still there, obviously, and I think the mix sort of sits real nice. And that took a long time of just going back and forth and saying up this, down this, do this to that, and really honed it in. And I really dig it. I think a sign of a good album. Especially if like you're creating it, you can listen to it like thousands of times if you're listening to new mixes and stuff like that over and over again. But if at the end you can still listen to it, still go, that's pretty sick. Then I think that's the sign that you've kind of got there, at least as far as it can go. This piece of art's never finished, but you got to at some point.
Yeah, that's it. Hacksaw Ritual starts with like this quieter kind of raw sound before getting all beefy and big. Like, what was the idea there? Did you always have that in mind for that track to kind of start with that little intro-y bit?
Yeah, not always. There was like a riff that kind of only appears once at the start of that, and it kind of just had a bit of a backbeat groove. And then there's kind of like about 16 bars or whatever of music before the vocals come in, and then like that was actually like last minute sort of a production sort of thing. We said like, what if it kind of sounded a bit like a kind of you get that kind of narrow band sort of AM radio sort of sound, and then it really kind of sucks the air out of the room, and it hits with like there's like a subtle bass bomb in there, like I know they're overdone as hell, and I wasn't too sure about it, but you can, if you have like a good sub with it, it really kicks your ass when it comes back in, and the riff hits hard, and the vocals come in at the same time. It's like a bit of reverse reverb effect thing on the vocals that comes in, kind of sucks in and then the slam drops. It's pretty sick.
That's cool. Yeah. So yeah, so with mixing and stuff, you were saying you were given instructions. Was it like, were you in the room going, "Oh, what about this? What about this?" Or was it more like kind of listening to something and giving notes and that sort of stuff? Like, how did it kind of?
Yeah,
work?
it was just a lot of that.
Yeah,
We'd just
okay.
go back and forth. He would send me a mix one day, like it would start. We'd start trying to get a guitar tone is the first thing you try and do. The main sort of elements of a mix, you want the guitar tone to be on point, and you want the kind of drum sounds to be on point, and then you can kind of craft everything sort of around that, and then it just kind of you sort of scale up from there. All the other elements of the mix, try and blend them in so they sit right, at least in your ear.
Yeah. So yeah, this album and Sledgehammer both came out through the Japanese label Amputated Vein. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you originally get together with them?
We put the feelers out a little while ago with our first EP, like when we had like a little bit of music, and I sort of I hit Asakatsu up from Amputated like way back then. It would have been like 2015 or something like that, and I guess he still just had us in the back of his mind then, because I just wanted someone to do all the stuff that I can't be asked doing, like
Sure.
the promotion and like printing CDs and stuff like that. And then he said, yeah, not right now, but I guess he kept us in the back of his mind, and then we hit him up again when we had some more music and some actual real recordings of like a real band. And then he was like, yeah, it was good to go. He really liked it, and then put us on the label.
Yeah, it's cool. So yeah, 2015. It's been it'd be 10 years of Iniquitous Monolith next year, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So have things changed much for you guys since the start, like the way you write riffs and put songs together and that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, look, at first it's just like with like any sort of project you get into, obviously you just want to write what you want to hear. So at first it was the ultras like slamming, guttural, like kind of like caveman-y sort of riff stuff, and but with like an extra element of atmosphere. Like growing up, I listened to a whole bunch of like White Zombie and Mortician, and they would like layer in the samples. Like Mortician would have obviously like an entire horror movie trailer before the song hits, and then White Zombie would have like the samples in the songs, and that was a really cool like a light bulb moment for me, because like it was adding a whole different texture of to the music, and I thought that was really sick. And like we've always did that, sort of added like serial killer samples. I know it's old hat and a whole bunch of bands do it, but
cool.
I think we do it in a way where like I'm really conscious of like the vibe or the atmosphere that's trying to bring, and even the timings of when if the serial killer's saying something, it's got to be in time with the music, where the next beat you hear means something. Like, and the riff is going to mean something. It's going to like grab you by the nuts and represent what he's just said, or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. There's some really brutal samples on there. Like, are you all sample collectors, or is like one or two of you in charge of that side of things?
Yeah, no, we all pitch in, but like I like horror movies and stuff, obviously. And you hear something every now and then, you go, oh shit, and you write down sort of when that happened in the movie. I could use that somewhere, and then eventually you get a bank of kind of stuff you can use, or you might write there in the moment, hear some music with it, and you'll be like, yeah, I've got the perfect spot for that.
Yeah.
So there's some bits like that, and it's cool. Like sometimes you'll know the movie because it'll just be like a popular movie that most people have seen, or sometimes it's like an Easter egg, and then later on down the track, like it happened for me with White Zombie, you can be watching movies and then you'll hear the sample and you go, oh shit, that's from whatever. And you'll spot the sample. It's like a little bonus.
That's cool. So yeah, I was saying it's been 10 years. Has your guitar gear setup changed much over that time?
Yeah, always. But like, I went from like using the Axe effects, like the amp modelers and stuff like that, through solid state power amps, and then back to tube amps like the EVH 5153, and I got a Randall head as well. But then for Iniquitous, I kind of wanted to go back to that more like grindy 90s sort of sound that they, Suffocation and Cannibal Corpse got with the Ampeg BH140C. So there was this pedal that amp is out of production. You can see them every now and then, like you can get them online. But there's this pedal company, SNK Pedals from the States, and they make a pedal that is like the exact schematics of that Ampeg. So I got that, and then basically my whole rig is on a pedal board. You can just put it, it's a good fly rig because I just have that pedal. I drive it with like a Boss Super Overdrive, the standard sort of shooting screamer type thing. And then that goes through like a power amp, which is also on the board, which is just like a small little 200 watt thing, and you can power 2 cabs no problem, like that. Yeah, nice. So it's all kind of like intentionally like a solid state and EMG sort of rig to get that real good grindy sound.
Yeah, nice. What about your guitar? Are you changing guitars much, or have you got like one that's kind of your baby,
Yeah, I suppose I don't have a lot of guitars. I actually just got one yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Got this. It's Ibanez RG565.
Yeah, nice.
This thing's fucking sick. That colour.
That's cool. Yeah.
Mainly for Iniquitous, it's the Zyphos, which is like it's their extra guitar, like the sort of pointy thing, and it's like all black. But yeah, that's the main one that I use for Iniquitous. We tune to G sharp on the 7-string. Yeah, I do. Yeah. And my other bands, Gravity, I'll use like the Universe, like the Ibanez did the on there. The Azigthos style one. I'll use that because like we do leads in that band, and don't really do any leads in Iniquitous, so there's no real need for that other pickup. I only use the bridge pickup on that one.
Yeah.
And then she's good to go.
Oh, cool, man. Talking Depravity, have you guys got any plans? You've been up to anything at the moment?
Yeah, man, we've got pretty much a whole album, which we're sort of getting to the arse end of getting like together and ready to record it. It's taken a little bit, but I think it'll be worth it. It's like listening to the whole thing as a whole so far, just like the demos we have, and yeah, it's really, really sick, and like more of the sort of direction we want to go in, sort of old school with the new sort of flair, and sharing the writing between Jared and I, the other guitarist. And it's just like, we're getting a real sort of groove going with the songs, and they just sound sick.
Yeah, nice one. What have you been listening to outside of your own stuff? You been checking any other bands or albums out?
Yeah, some newer stuff. I just like started listening to this band, Sigil. I think Siijeel. It's this Indonesian death metal band. They're really sick. Okay. There's obviously some Aussie stuff, Putrescent Seepage and Seminal Embalmment and Slaughter Cult, and we just played in Melbourne with these guys, and I've been listening to their stuff for quite a while, and it was like a privilege to play with them. It was really sick.
Yeah, cool.
And apart from Aussie stuff, there's an album that came out earlier this year, this Nithing, Agonal Hymns, and that's like it's this one-man band by the Gorgasm drummer. He's also like the Vitriol drummer right now. Right. There's Matt Kilner dude, and that's really sick. And that's like hits that vibration that I'm sort of trying to go for with Iniquitous, that real sort of horror, riff heavy, disgusting, sort of abrasive sound. And he's also got this really sort of psychedelic sounds that he's like using, these really extra dimensional and atmospheric sort of sounds that are like super appealing. So that was on repeat for a long time, that one. That's a really sick one.
Nice, man. So yeah, obviously the album's coming up. You guys got shows planned?
we've got something in on Halloween in Perth, but
Nice.
apart from that, no, we did Melbourne a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we're open to bookings at the moment, but we're not like actively searching. We're just kind of getting ready to put it out and do what we have to do for that.
Yeah, nice, man. And yeah, August 9th isn't that far away. You can pre-order and all that kind of stuff, I'm guessing, yeah?
Yeah. You can either hit up the label, Iniquitous Vein, in Japan, or locally if you're in Australia, you can get in touch with us on our Instagram because we have physical copies as well, and we'll be getting the merch, everything like that. So if you want to support us rather than someone else, then you can go straight to us.
Yeah, good, man. That's awesome, cool. Lyndon, thanks for your time. Killer album, man. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. We're gonna, I'll hit you halfway through Instagram, man. Thanks a lot.
Awesome, man. Yeah,
cool.
Thank you.
Have a good one, man.
Last up, I kind of snuck this one in. This isn't metal, but it's definitely got, a rock element. The band Electric Six. You probably have heard their song Gay Bar, pretty massive hit for them. They've been around since '96. They're going to tour Australia again. They're playing 2 Perth shows. Frontman Dick Valentine joins us today to talk about what they're up to with Electric Six.
Where are you located?
Perth, Western Australia.
Oh, great. Love it there.
Yeah. Where are we talking to you from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, nice. Awesome, man. That's
Literally
cool.
the other side of the world.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, cool. You guys are making your way over here shortly, which is exciting. That's cool. You can come back.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was great last year, and I think we immediately put the wheels in motion to get us back in 2024, like pretty much the next day after leaving. So it's happening.
That's cool, man. If it's cool, I wouldn't mind going back a little while to the beginning. You guys started back in '96, but then 2003 was huge. Obviously, the Fire album had those huge singles on it. Can you remember when you first realized one of your songs was starting to become very, very popular?
I don't remember an exact moment per se. I do remember going into a restaurant in Paris and seeing the Danger High Voltage video on the screen. And it was just that was surreal. Just to be walking into a place and seeing it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's one moment per se. When you sign a record deal and they have a plan for you and they say they're going to release it, so you have some time to prepare. But actually experiencing it is it's unique, especially if you've been in a band for 6-7 years and only played 100 people in Detroit. It was definitely a weird experience for a while, but eventually you get used to it.
Yeah, that's cool. Electric Six has a pretty unique sort of mix of genres and sounds. When you were starting to write for Electric Six, did you have a sort of specific thing in mind, like an idea for what you wanted it to be?
I just wanted it to be fun and entertaining and comedic, but a smart comedic, I guess. And just make sure people are having fun coming to our shows. The lyrics from those early songs, I mean, they are kind of juvenile. It's some of them are almost incel-y, I guess. But looking back, so I'm definitely a different person now. But yeah, I mean, I think at the time we just wanted to. I was very into Devo. I like that kind of style. So I mean, I think we were trying to be a more guitar-oriented Devo, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's cool. How do you go playing like you're saying, some of them feel a bit incel now? How do you go playing those songs, after so long? Is it kind of funny going back to,
Oh, I mean, well, we've always played the songs off of Fire. And then, there are songs like that, before Fire, when we were called the Wild Bunch, those early days, a lot of those songs haven't, many of them, Don't Be Afraid of the Robot, I Lost Control of My Rock and Roll. It's been a long time since we've dusted those off. We have, I think 15 albums after Fire, so the bulk of our set is going to be, Fire and everything after. But that said, a lot of that early stuff, I went back and listened to some of it last night. It holds up.
Yeah, it's cool. So you guys put out Turquoise last year, the album. When you were writing for that one, was there something you wanted to capture, something different? Like the cover's got kind of an 80s look and things. Was there something you wanted to do there?
Well, it was definitely the COVID record. We started it in January 2020. We did 2 songs. And then COVID happened, and we thought the album was going to be done in 2020. We didn't actually finish it until 2022. So the song Turquoise is actually about the pandemic. I think, we didn't want, it's not a concept album by any means, but I mean, it's definitely, a lot of the songs were written during a pandemic, so I guess, that probably plays into it. But, for the most part, you look at the album, it's a smorgasbord of styles and sounds.
Yeah. The title track is great. It's like a real earworm. Do you ever write as a band, or does something like that happen in your lounge room first? Like, how do you guys put songs together?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it is a collaboration. John Nash and Chris Tate write music as well. Like "Take Me to the Sugar" is a song that Tate wrote. He also wrote "Hot Numbers on the Telephone." And I just kind of throw the lyrics on it. Some of the songs are collabs, like "Turquoise," and I think like "Five Clowns." And I actually wrote "Five Clowns" in Australia. I actually wrote it in Perth. It's we just take the songs that sound best to us at the time, and that becomes the record. I mean, there's always throwaways as well.
Yeah. Another album I got to ask about is 2018's "Bride of the Devil." That amazing album cover. Are you guys horror fans or anything like?
I wouldn't say fans. I mean, obviously that the cover was intentional, but I don't really seek out horror films, nor do I run away from them if they're on the television. I go with it.
Yeah, cool. The guitar sound and everything on that album is quite beefy and warm as well. What was the amp and pedal set up for that? It sounds a little bit different to some of the other albums.
You, my friend, are talking to the wrong guy.
Okay, sure, no worries. That's cool, man. Yeah, no worries. So you wrote songs for the television series Bite Me, yeah? How was it writing for something visual? Like, did you have scripts or something to go off before you had songs for that show?
Oh yeah. I didn't really see any of the of the show. I just kind of had loose ideas of what the concept was. I mean, it was just like three gamers like battling zombies. But for the songs, they just wanted me to write songs, loosely based on it, and like I had free reign to write about anything. They wanted the songs to be like heavier, like loud guitars and stuff. So that's what I did. I did season 1. I did 5 songs. Season 2, I did 10 songs, and I'm pretty pleased with the way they came out.
Yeah. Are you still writing music for any other media at all?
No, I mean, I always take, I do I try to get voiceover work a lot. Anything that comes my way, I'll entertain it. But for the most part, I'm either writing for Electric Six, writing for my solo projects, or writing my dirty books. But I'm a pretty self-contained apparatus.
Yeah, that's cool. Tell us about the dirty books. What are you doing? What do you write?
Sure. I've like 8 pornographic audiobooks. 6 of them are a completed detective series, L.A. noir detective who finds himself in filthy and sexy situations while he's solving mysteries. And then I've started a Western series, and I'm 2 books into that. Basically, they're audiobooks. I write them and then narrate them into audiobook format and just sell them at merch, sell them to fans online. When they came about, when we had our first daughter, I couldn't really make music in the house anymore. Like, she's trying to sleep. I couldn't make a racket, so I needed a quieter outlet. And I just started typing the first book, Chinatown Reach Around, and then I moved so many units of it, I had to write a sequel, and then another sequel, and another sequel. So that's how it worked.
That's awesome. Outside of your own stuff, what have you been listening to lately? What are you checking out?
Oh man, since having kids, I mean, I'm listening to like the Bluey soundtrack. I don't, guilty as charged is not really paying attention to music as much as I used to. I mean, when I was in my 20s, it was all I did, looking for the newest, latest thing. But like being in a touring band and like having kids and getting into your 50s, it's just, the will is not there anymore. So I trust whatever if you want to send me a recommendation, I'll listen to whatever you're listening to.
Cool. So Electric Six has been a long time, touring band, probably a lot more experience playing in front of crowds compared to when you started, yeah? Do you think that affects how you write songs? Like, do you sort of picture how a crowd's going to react and that kind of thing when you're putting songs together?
Every now and then you do. Like, for the song Turquoise, like, I had because it is about like coming back from the pandemic and live shows starting again and getting past it. I had the idea to like rip off what U2 did, like where you do the first 3/4 of the song, like just with all the house lights up, right? And like, and then like you get to that final chorus and the house lights go down with spotlights and you got a rock show going again. So we tried that. I'm about to order. Don't worry. I'm sorry. So we tried that in like the first day of the Turquoise tour, and the lighting guy just completely screwed it up. So we rehearsed it, and then like when the show came, he just sat there, and so the house lights were up the whole time. So we never tried it again. But yeah, every now and then, but you have ideas like that.
Yeah, cool. Electric Six is making its way back to Oz in August. You're playing 2 shows in Perth. Some bands don't make it over here at all, and you said before you like Perth. You got a connection here or something? Like,
oh, we do. We have a really, really, really like amazing fan who is Perth based, and up until 2020, I was there in 2020 doing an acoustic tour. I played Perth Fringe Festival. She set it up, but before that, she had flown to Europe and North America probably 20 times to see us. So because we had a long hiatus from Australia. So she's pretty awesome, and she lives in Frio, and she's good people. So yeah, I do like Perth, because of her, but because of all the reasons, it's an amazing place.
Yeah, awesome, man, cool. Well, looking forward to it. Greatest hits tour, and like you said, you got a big catalog to choose from. How do you guys pick which one? What are the greatest hits? Like, are you looking at numbers, or like how do you figure out what you're gonna play?
Oh, I see. Yeah, you obviously have to play like the big 3 off of Fire, and then the medium 3 off of Fire, and then you're looking at like Down at McDonald's, Out by the Drugs, Jimmy Carter, things like that. So, and then we just we also try to play a lot of stuff off of Turquoise as well, which we're doing. We're probably doing like 8 or 9 songs off of it. Yeah, cool. So yeah, it's the Electric Six show. It's fun. We rip through it. We put hopefully get you about 25 songs a night, and that we are. It's easy for me. I just feel like I'm singing karaoke, but my musicians are great. Like it's a really, really tight band, and we know what we're doing.
Yeah, nice, man. Cool, awesome. Like Dick, thanks for your heaps for your time. It's been cool to chat, and looking forward to seeing you guys in Perth, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Okay, take care.
You too.
Bye bye.
And that's me for another show, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you subscribe for more metal. Plenty of good releases coming up and interviews and things. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one. See you around.